come with me on a 7-minute journey to the west coast of Africa. And as we go on this journey, you will notice an impressive variety of hairstyles. But make no mistake about it, the hairstyles are not merely cosmetic. They hold cultural, social, and even spiritual significance. Over there, by the horizon, we start to see a large ship approaching the West African coast. The ship is carrying European explorers who are chasing fantasies of virgin land flush with hidden treasures and unclaimed riches. And they find thriving African nations with whom they become trading partners. The year is 1444. It's so productive that over in the Americas, they have conquered vast territories of land and have found themselves in a position where they don't have the labor force to work the land. So they decide to reassess their trading with the Africans and ramp up their demand for human captives. Over the course of 400 years, 20 million men, women, children, aged between 10 and 24 are forcibly removed from their homes.
Woman. Oh, we should go and liberate the Muslim woman from this oppressive gown that she's made to wear. What do you think of that? Oh God, I feel like I'm interviewing you and we should just record this and put it on Instagram. But it's very interesting for me, yeah?
Yeah.
So
I feel like it's far from oppression because I get to wear this and put on, like, it's in a sense it's a protection. You're not seeing me for what I look like. You're not looking at me for, you know, like my body or anything. You're gonna see me. You're gonna hear me. You're gonna hear me first, and that's the whole point of it. You know, and I get to take that power away from somebody else and allow myself to have that power. So in a sense, I feel like that it diverts away from oppression.
Liberating,
Yeah, it's completely liberating, and it's my crown.
Self-esteem. When you go back home and people are talking and they talk to your kid, try to talk in our local language, and then I say, as for my child, she doesn't speak our language.
They're even proud of it.
I know. Yeah, how do you speak English? So.
And that's what makes me angry about my uncle and auntie. There's someone that translates for me because I was born in Africa, so I must be or something. I will translate. You must learn. If you don't understand,
but good thing you even mentioned that. Let me tell you now what is even happening, which is I find it embarrassing and a shame that our people now actually back at home in the city, that live in the city, they don't even want to teach their kids our native language. So now what do they teach them? Just English and Swahili, which is a national language, but not their native. So when you try to talk to them in the native language, like what you say, oh, they don't understand that. And like it's pride, and you're wearing it like a crown, you know?
Wow.
Like it's supposed to be something really good.
You know what? This is one of the most effective tools that was used by colonizers to strip us away of our identity, is to take away, number one, language. You know, the way we told our stories in Africa was through, you know, oral tradition. We sit around a fire, tell stories, we talked in our language. You know, some of the rich proverbs in our language, I cannot even tell them in English because they think it's just translated.
Yeah.
But when they are told to you in your in your native language, you feel chills because of the heaviness and the punch in the language. When you strip people of the way they communicate in riddles, in metaphors, in proverbs, in wisdom, you've taken away something very, very important. And if you look at the history here in Australia, even with the indigenous culture, one of the things that was taken away from them is actually their language. Because when you take away people's language, you silence them. You take away their ability to communicate in a way that shuts you out. You know, because when we communicate in our own language, we can shut the outsider out. We can shut the oppressor out. So we need to be able to cut that shit out so that you guys can only talk in a language that we can be involved in, so that we can know how to oppress you and disadvantage you further. And our language is power, you know. these people, this is systemic, you know, oppression.
Okay, I say I don't speak my native language because it's not my native language. Yes, it is my native language, but
It's because to her,
to
because
me,
she was born here.
I was born here, and also where my dad's from is not his native language, and my mum's from. It is a native language, but like it's Somali. It's a Somali language, and I'm not Somalian. That's why I don't speak it.
But your heritage is from there? Is any of your parents Somali?
My parents are not. My mom's Egyptian, my dad's Ethiopian. But like,
So they say you're Australian?
I'm Australian.
I always say to my cousins, even sometimes go to the point of grabbing like this, I say, look at me. You are an African.
Yeah, but you are Australian.
Even though you were born here,
You're Australian.
you are African.
But can I?
They mark your way, they give you zero.
The thing is, you know what? People then choose to identify themselves the way they feel. You know, for people who were born here, they might not have such a strong attachment to our motherland as people who, you know, so if she chooses to identify herself as an Australian, because that is the identity that she wears and she knows, and, you know, she was born here, and that's fine. You know, and so for us people who've been born there, brought up there, we have an attachment, you know.
I tell you, always, what I've learned this past 6 months is this: always have something that you can fall back on. So that when the one thing that you've been holding on to is taken from you, at least you can have something to fall back on. So when your Australianness is challenged or is questioned, your English is challenged, or who you are as an Australian, who you identify is challenged. Who else are you?
Oh, my question to that is, I will never be challenged because I set the terms.
Trust me.
Yeah.
Trust me.
The systems change. Even your last name.
You know, and I'm just every time it used to be a bone of. I used to complain to her that I was like, oh my god, someone who came last month, they don't even know. Like,
But listen,
what
this is
the
the funny
Kenyan
thing.
shilling is.
No, listen, this is the funny thing. Think about it.
Okay, when you've been here for a long time, to subconsciously pick up the lingo, you know, that people use, and that's absolutely fine. But I find like people are so ashamed of the way we speak, of the way we pronounce things, of the way we. The thing that you want to drop is your language.
Yes.
You want to drop your culture. You
And
want
that's
to
what
drop your
actually
identity.
one of the things that defines you.
And you know,
you're
what's
so
Australians,
broken,
even when you talk with the most Australian accent from
Oh,
here to
please,
New
you'll
York,
never be
they
them.
can still figure out the African in you. They'll be looking at you like, look at this fake. I can't even.
Think about it. How come when you leave, let me say for example Kenya, so you leave Kenya and you go to a country like India, you don't come back talking like the Indian and shaking your head. You know, you don't do that.
You only assimilate what you think is better,
Thank
superior,
you. Thank you.
supreme. You know,
Yeah.
and you.
And the kids had to, out of necessity, speak English and learn English first. In a sense, they had to play that adult role.
But her kids were born in America, but they speak our native language.
We've taught them
Just
Swahili.
They say,
Oh, yeah,
and
they
They can speak
you know,
Swahili fluently.
but
They
a lot
can
of
read
remember
Swahili
a lot of the
fluently.
parents are also very colonized. They
Yes.
think our language
That
is
is the-
inferior
Oh.
in and of
I should
itself.
tell you what we went through the first years when our kids were learning the language from our own friends, saying, "Isn't this going to confuse them?" That's all we heard. And I told them, you know what? I work in the hospital where Hispanics parents have had their kids. They've come from Mexico. They've had their kids in America. So their kids, of course, speak American. And
English, they speak
American
American.
English, not Australian. I guess there's a difference. But their parents cannot even speak a single, they say no English, no English, no English.
That's what they say.
Yeah. But so So, but these kids, they are my interpreters at the hospital. When I want to tell my patient, okay, I'm here to give you this medication and their child is standing right there, they will interpret to their parents what I'm about to do. Because they understand 2 languages.
It makes you smarter.
Exactly. So my thing is, so how come, then that's what I used to, even the, look at the Chinese, they master, look at the English too. They teach their kids their language, and also, mostly Chinese, look at the Chinese, they have to teach their kids. So I'm like,
Because language is power.
how come those kids are not confused? But you as African, you're ready to jump. You African, my friend, you're the first one to jump in and tell me, aren't you going to confuse your child? Isn't this going to confuse their language?
But also, how does a kid with this young know what is confusing and not? Because they do not yet understand how the world operates. What if everybody spoke 5 languages? How does a kid who is 1 year yet know that everybody in the whole world does not speak 5 languages? So once you're speaking to them in 5 languages, the kid thinks this is the norm.
Yes.
And the brain is expanding according to that capacity. And saying this is going to confuse kids, I found it to be a ridiculous idea. But also it's just a response to our own indignity around our own language and our own culture. Or our language and our own whatever culture is inferior. But also we need to remember that sometimes when I have these challenging conversations, I have to constantly remind myself, just as we have been so, remember all of us, we have to have done a lot of work to be having these conversations today. We were not always like this. I can tell you, when I was a teenager, I wanted to be lighter. I wanted to have straight hair. I wanted to have a white boyfriend. I wanted to,
Because that's what you see on TV.
that is the environment in which we grew up in. We were taught white is better, and even though we were not living in a white society then, that is what was constantly on our media as being better, as being good, as being acceptable, and the standard, the normative. Yeah. So for us, the 7 of us to be standing here today, we have had to do a lot of work for ourselves, within ourselves. We've had to do a lot of decolonizing. So we also have to allow other people that journey, because not everybody has been given the power, the privilege to do that journey that we have done. We have had the education, we have had great strong sisters around us, we have had great support systems that have allowed us to have this journey. So when you meet other sisters of color who are not there yet, it is good and important that we shy away from the blaming, like, oh, look at that, you know, whatever. And we allow that space to learn. But also not just for our sisters, but also for our white sisters and brothers as well. Remember, just as we were taught to see it as better, and that's what we wanted, remember that is the same thing they were taught too. So do not blame them for embracing what they were taught as good. You will find a lot of people who've also done a lot of decolonizing for themselves as well. And they are trying to shift away from that white supremacist beliefs. And it's hard because, especially it's harder for them because that means they have to share a bit of privilege to welcome you into the dialogue as well. And sharing privilege and sharing power is not always easy.
All these things existed. I know it sounds weird, but I did not know. I was not okay. I wouldn't say I did not know because it's obvious. I have eyes.
Yes.
But maybe I was not aware of the situation surrounding blackness. I was so oblivious to the things behind me. I just walked out of home. I didn't even know black people faced discrimination or things like that.
So hold up. So when you were 18, were you not? Is it when you came to Australia?
I came to Australia when I was 8 years old, and I discovered that when I was 18 about all these things that your color can become a barrier to this and this and that.
That's when you starting to enter the system.
That's when I started to enter the system. When I went to university, they will have a map of the world, and then you won't see Africa. They'll be talking about trading with the world, but like Asia, and I'm like, they're missing a map of Africa. The teacher will be talking about languages in the world. We say, okay, everyone raise up, we need someone from Asia and the Pacific. They even go to the Pacific, and then they forget Africa. And I'm like, hey, what's going on? And then I came home and my sister told me, she's like, hey, this is like real life. This is real life. I said, gee, so my color can do this. Then I discovered, I said, I must study. to know about myself. If I know about myself, then I know who's the cat to eat me and who's the lion to bite me.
Yes.
So, yeah, it's good to study about yourself, to know.
Know yourself. That's
Know
the
yourself.
most important thing.
What I'm saying is just be proud of who you are and talk the way you want. Be proud of your features.
Yes.
You know,
Be proud of
be
it.
proud of who you are. Speak your language and do whatever you
And do
can.
it with pride.
Do it with pride.
Because it's only when you own it and wear it with pride that other people are
Yes.
gonna respect that. But are you going to keep trying to be white and then blaming white people for not treating you with
Yes.
respect for your blackness?
Yes.
It's like, oh, but you're not even wearing your own skin with pride. Why are you even offended when I don't treat it with respect? You know, but when you wear it with pride, you have a right to be offended when people don't treat it as respectfully as you do treat it yourself.